And that was such a epiphany for me in this moment, to say, I have to tell people, how do you recognize these moments so that you don't, that you that you celebrate when you're collecting these here moments on your path to there. And so for me, that's really the goal. My goal is the goal to help as many people as I possibly can to recognize this and live in their purpose and make the impact that they came here to do.
Welcome to Inspired Choice today. I'm your host, Caroline Biesalski, here to bring you authentic stories, surprising lessons, and powerful takeaways to fuel your journey in business and life. In each episode, I'll take you from one inspiring guest to the next, blending their experiences with my expertise to uncover practical strategies you can use right away. Whether you're starting out or stepping up, stay tuned for insights and actionable tips that make a difference. And stick around until the end for a special freebie just for our listeners. Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline and my today's guest is Beate Chelette, and I'm so happy that she said yes to our interview today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, me too. And I would love to introduce you to the audience first, of course. So you are the growth architect and founder of the Women's Code, where you equip visionaries and leaders with strategies to build authority and scale their impact. You bootstrapped your passion for photography into a global business, ultimately selling it to Bill Gates in a multi-million-dollar deal. Welcome to the Inspired Podcast, Beate.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Perfect. I love that. And my first question to you is, what first inspired you to start building your own business, and how did your journey begin in the world of photography?
It really was not much by choice. There was a massive recession. We had come out of many, many different negative events of fires, floods, riots, and the economy was so bad. We were in a prolonged recession that my boss literally could not afford to keep me on, and so I was laid off. And because there were no jobs, I had to figure out how to uh, start my own business. And because my entire background is photography, I'm a trained photographer. I was a photo editor at Elle magazine and an artist representative for photographers and a producer. So that naturally led to then the next step, which is to build my own photography based business.
Okay, I understand. Though this is really inspiring what you shared. Thank you so much. My next question is, was there a specific turning point in your career where you realized you were on the path to something big, or that you had to make a major shift to reach the next level?
I think that any career is a perpetual shift. I mean, we do see this today as well. I call this, it's like an entrepreneurial T-bone. You know, it's like if your vehicle is driving nicely along and you think you got it figured out, and then you get T-boned out of nowhere, and you have to find a different direction. So I had literally 8 major challenges to overcome, and that, you know, I mean, as I said, amongst fires, floods, riots, earthquake, a lawsuit, September 11th. It was tough. So it constantly changes, and you know, at any given step of the way, you always question: is this something that I still want to do? Is this where I'm supposed to be? And you just keep plugging along in the hopes that one day your ship will come in.
So what does it mean? Is it you set a goal for yourself and then come all those obstacles and you question your goal?
No, not necessarily like that. I think you have a drive as an entrepreneur, or at least I did, where I said that I was really moving forward in the way that I felt where I needed to go, and giving up just was not an option for me. And because I was so determined, I rather would have died than to give up. And that was the level of my determination. I had to figure out how to do this. There was no plan B. There was no alternative. This was all I knew how to do, and this was all I was going to do.
Wow, this sounds like this or I die, no plan B, so to say, burning the boats. And
Burning the boats, that's right.
you love that book too. It comes from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, the business Bible.
Burn the ships. Hmm.
Yes, we love it. We do it. Yes, because some people say, "Oh, when it's not working, then I change my goal." But you never change the goal. You just change the plan, right?
No, I mean, I did change yeah, well, the goal was to be successful, whatever that meant. And the steps to get there, you just have to figure out as you go along. A friend of mine once described it. She says, it's like you jumping out of a plane with an parachute that you're sewing while you're in free fall. That's entrepreneurship for you. You just have to make it up as you go. There is no plan in that sense that nobody in entrepreneurship has it figured out. And everybody who says so lies. It just doesn't exist. You jump, you go, and you say, well, I'll figure it out. Everything can be figured out. And that's what we do.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. It combines everything I heard so far about leaving comfort zone, etc. So this gives me hope. What you said, nobody has the recipe, so to say.
Well, in spirituality, we don't need to know the steps, right? In spirituality, if we, in my work, we align spirituality with strategic success. And it just means that you say, if you have the vision, then the path must exist. You just don't know the path, otherwise you would already be on it. So you just follow the vision and then the path will appear. And the path does appear, but the path does not appear when before you start. You have to start and then the path will appear. And that's why a lot of people get really confused, because they think that they're making all these plans and these business plans. Those are guidelines, right? So those are ideas on where we are going. But I've yet to find one person who done entrepreneurship where the plan that they ended up taking was the exact plan they set out to use. It just doesn't exist.
Yes, I understand. Bob Proctor said once the fun is in finding out how to get it or what the path is, so to say. So I
100%. Yes, yes. And Bob Proctor was absolutely correct. Yes.
Yes, and then we practice it if we are courageous enough, but it's the start that stops most people, right? So let's take a look at my next question. Reflecting on your success, what strategies or mindsets do you believe have been most crucial in scaling your business to such a high level and making a lasting impact?
Well, there's really three things. You have to understand, when you build a business, you go through three different phases. One is the building phase. That's where you turn your talent into a business, where you design the business model, where you design the foundation, the unique value proposition, and the offer. And then the second piece is the growth, where you then have figured out what you are, and you are really figuring out how to create these next growth elements and how you will grow this business. And then the third one is scaling. That's when then you have systems that are already in place, and now you figure out, how do we double and triple our numbers? So when people talk about entrepreneurship or talk about what does it take, you got to be very clear on which phase you are in business building. You cannot scale when you're in the building phase. So what made my business successful was that I figured out my product market fit, and I had something that other people did not do. So I had a very unique positioning in the market, and people came to me because they wanted that product and no other product. And my product, what was better than other people's products, specifically in the photography world, we did interior architecture and then celebrity at home stories. And we had very quickly become the industry leader in this particular category. And that is what attracted the buyer, Bill Gates. But when we knew that we had a unique product, we built scalable systems, and we built an asset management software system, and then we built an international syndication. So we really scaled But you have to remember there's 3 steps to it, and you can't scale unless you've built and grown the business.
Yes, so that means you have to build a foundation first. You cannot build on sand, of course. And then you pointed out the uniqueness of your business model as well. And one word stood out for me here to remember is the word, I love it, it's category. So when you create your own category, some people call it niche or niche. I never know how to pronounce this, so it is very unique. And when you are unique on the planet, then you can also not, we would say, demand the or pay or write your own paycheck. This is how it's called, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of myth around writing your own paycheck. You it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of trial and error, and you just go through the motions, and you try to figure out, how do I do this best? How do I get in front of the right people? And you don't know if it works unless you see if it works. So there's a lot of emotional roller coaster riding and fear that you have to overcome, because you're going down a path that you haven't gone down before.
Yes, so true. This is the leaving comfort zone, and this
Yes.
is where, yeah, the logic ends and intuition starts, so to say, maybe
Yes,
following your
100%. It's, in spirituality, and your site, Bob Proctor, you have to believe that this is the path, and then you have to fully surrender that the path will appear, and you cannot waver. I mean, you will waver because you have doubts and you have fear and your old programming shows up, but that's when you have to lean in harder, and y- you have to call in your success.
Wow. I never heard this before. You have to call in your success. Okay. So there are people naming their dogs after things they want to attract, like money or success. I can imagine this. So you call your success in, you said, and my next question is about your coaches and mentors. Do you have coaches and mentors? I assume so. And who was the best coach you ever had?
Oh, wow, that's a interesting question. Yeah, I've had lots of coaches. I work with a high performance coach and have done for many, many years. I've done spiritual journeys where I've done ayahuasca, and a couple ayahuasca journeys to connect with one source. I've certainly, read the books. I've gone to the conferences and the events. Um, in that sense, mentors, there's a lot of people I study. I like the surrender experiment, the untethered soul, because you have to really understand some of these concepts. I've studied spirituality. Currently I'm reading Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, um, and looking into Stoicism. So you realize that after a while that the mentorship or the leadership that you're seeking, or the guidance, is typically coming from people that are interpreting the same things that have been around for sometimes thousands of years. And these old writings are all around, the mindset control on what you actually believe in. And so, do I have a favorite? I've worked with David Nagel for a while, who's a mindset coach. And I did enjoy working with him. I think you pick different mentors or different teachers at different time of your life when you are going from one phase to the next phase, and you then need to figure out, what's the next thing that I need to learn while I'm on my path.
Wow, you put it very beautifully. When you go from one phase to the other phase, yeah, you have the tendency to call a mentor in.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. You mentioned Michael A. Singer's books, The Untethered Soul and
Yeah.
Surrender Project. I appreciate those books as well. He's a great teacher. We can follow his videos as well on YouTube if we like to. Very inspiring as well. So my next question to you is about your goals and next projects. Do you set goals for yourself? And what is one of your next projects?
Yeah, I mean, one of my big next projects really is around we at the beginning of this year, I started to add a lot more spirituality into my strategy. And at first, I was a little nervous because I thought that as a German strategist, that people would kind of think I'm a little cuckoo because now adding spirituality to it. But I realized that a lot of the people that I already spoke to and a lot of the people that are in my sphere are all very spiritually enlightened or aligned with what I do. And so as I keep talking about things that are changing from persuasion to attraction models, I found that a lot more people are starting to resonate with what I think is the opposition of this crazy internet marketing language that we've seen for so many years. The watts of cash, the cars, the private planes. And honestly, I think it's a big turn off for most people because that's not really what I aspire to do. So the goal for me specifically, and this has something to do with where I am at this stage in my life, is that I want to give people shortcuts. And my goal is to help you, the listener, to understand that there is no there. The there is the point in your trajectory, in your journey that you deem as the goal in your life. And that changes from person to person. Not everybody wants $1 million. Not everybody wants $10 million. Not everybody wants $1 billion. So you first get clear what that goal is. And that's oftentimes a spiritual goal where you lean into it. And then my job is to help people reverse engineer. Then once we figured out this spiritual connection to your goal, what's the strategic path is to actually get there. But when we do it this way, we understand that we have set a marker so we can recognize on the step there when we have moments that are very meaningful to us. And I want to give your listeners an example. So I had a moment a couple months ago where my daughter, who is 32, she has a baby, and baby Kaliano, they were all over at our house, and we cooked, and I made a beautiful rosemary lamb, and we had wine, and my husband's daughter was there, and her husband, and people are laughing and having a good time. The baby falls asleep, and my daughter says, "Mom, do you want to put her downstairs in the crib so she can sleep?" I said, "No, I want to hold her and look at her." And then I'm looking at this beautiful, beautiful child, she was less than a year old at the time. And you watched, the little lower lip shiver when they're dreaming and you don't even know what they're dreaming about. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking up, this is there. I'm there. This is there. My daughter speaks to me. His daughter speaks to him. The grandbaby's in my arms. I can hang out with her. She's sleeping in my arms. There's trust. There's love. We have the money to buy good food. We have money to buy good wine. We live in a beautiful house my husband built. There's cars outside. We can buy what we want. We can go on vacations. We have achieved everything that we said we were wanted to achieve. And that was such a epiphany for me in this moment, to say, I have to tell people, how do you recognize these moments so that you don't, that you celebrate when you're collecting these here moments on your path to there. And so for me, that's really the goal. My goal is the goal to help as many people as I possibly can to recognize this and live in their purpose and make the impact that they came here to do.
Wow, this is so beautiful what you just shared. This reminds me of our great, and I can mention it in this episode, our great, not just a writer or author, it's our thinker, it's Goethe. And he wrote in his main book about the present moment and that it should stay. I don't know the exact words in English, and I don't want to translate it now. Maybe you know this. The Faust.
You can say it in German, and then I can see if I can translate it.
Augenblick verweile du.
Yeah, it means be present in the moment.
Thank you so much. We are present now, and I'm so grateful for our interview. So my last question is about where people can find you when they want to reach out to you after listening to this episode. Of course, please connect to Beate. She's amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So if you're listening to this episode, what my recommendation is, go take my free quiz, which shows you what your true earning potential is. So a lot of people have always asked me, Caroline, that how do I figure out on whether or not my idea can make any money? So I created a quiz for that, German engineered, of course, and you find it at whatsyourtalentworth.com. That's where I would start and find out what your actual earning potential is. And then if you want to speak to me, go fill out an uncovery session. You can find that at uncoverysession.com. Be happy to spend 15 minutes with you to go over your business or your idea to see if I can help you to put that together. And listen to my podcast, The Business Growth Architect Show. And I'm all over social media, so reach out any way that is comfortable for you. And make sure you mention the show.
Oh, wow. Please mention the Inspired podcast, and then we will do the connection. Reach out to Beate or to me. I will introduce you, of course. Thank you so much for our interview being present today. And now it's time for your last thoughts, final thoughts to the audience, please.
Yes, the most important thing is just don't take failure personal. Failure is just a roadmap. Like when you go and you drive your car and then there's a road that's closed, you're not going to get out of the car, throw yourself on the ground and throw a temper tantrum or sell your car and never drive again. All you do is you wave at the guy in the construction head and say, okay, I'm going to take a note that this road is currently under construction. I'm going to find another way. And when in your life things are not happening, I want you to really envision that all you're going to do, see yourself waving by while you find another way to your destination. There's many, many ways to be successful.
Wow, this is really inspiring and encouraging at the same time. Thank you so much, Beate. This was our interview.
Gern geschehen. Danke. Thank you very much.
Thank you, International, today, and see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Inspired Choice today. I'm thrilled to have you on this journey of growth and transformation. Don't forget to hit follow or subscribe to stay connected and never miss an episode. And here's something special. Grab your free 20-minute breakthrough session with me. It's designed to help you kickstart or level up your business. Just check out the show notes for more. Until next time, keep making those inspired choices. See you in the next episode.